Do have a couple of snowfall events we're watching this week. It's kind of I'd say it's an active, busy week, but without any real major storms. A lot of ups and downs, little events here and there.
So we saw that start yesterday. We talked about it yesterday, how we had the chance for sort of some snow squalls that moved through, and snow squalls might even be too strong of a term. Yeah. There were some flurries in the air. Some of you wrote into us, said, hey, I'm looking outside and there's some flurries. That's what we forecast, no real accumulations. We'll kind of ramp up,
stepping it up a little
as we go into tomorrow, and a better chance even on Wednesday. So tomorrow, a chance of some, again, kind of snow squalls, maybe a coating here or there.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, and then Wednesday is when we would expect to see a few inches, really in the overnight hours, stretching maybe into the morning commute.
Yeah, and that's what our next alert is for for that period of snow from late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Not to discount what could fall tomorrow morning. There could be some whitening of the roads in a few spots, but we feel like the slightly bigger event and probably more widespread is coming later Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And right now there's not a whole lot on the map. It's relatively quiet. You got a storm sort of exiting off the southeastern U.S. You can see that sort of cold front, which is what's going to be responsible for our snow showers tomorrow morning. That's now up in parts of the Great Lakes. And that little batch of clouds way up in Edmonton would be the Tuesday night into Wednesday event. So you can kind of see everything on the map.
Yep.
Nothing really all that big or interesting. The pattern we're in this week is one where we've got several sort of minor storms ejecting out of Canada, Alberta area. A lot of times we call these clippers. It's a really fast-moving thing, and none of them will blow up and be that big, but nonetheless, kind of just stuff to keep us busy and periods of snow here and there.
Kind of like nickel and diming ourselves up to the snow totals that we'll see. We have had a couple of 5-inch snow events, but we're just going to add a couple of inches in the coming days. So Futurecast does a good job of handling both the sunshine today. Tomorrow, we mentioned that frontal passage. We'll likely see a few snowflakes flying, maybe some coatings. Minor event, maybe perhaps slightly above a minor event as you go into Wednesday morning. Don't expect this to be a huge deal, but the timing could be a little bit inconvenient. If this starts at 2 a.m., it might take road crews a little bit to kind of get in front of it, but we're not expecting those heavy totals that would perhaps impact schools or a big issue on the roadways. Yeah,
we're talking probably 5 or 6 hours of a period of relatively light snow, maybe just a quickly moderate snow. But if it's coming during the morning commute, some of the roads could be whitened. Just something to be aware of. And then later in the day, the actual front comes through with a chance of a rain or snow shower in the afternoon.
And in the deeper shade of this indicates maybe some heavier snow falling at that time. And so I would be watching this for the snow squalls to move through. That could perhaps be even more impactful. It's not going to last long, but it doesn't take much. 1 inch per hour could throw a big wrench into things. So our chance for 2 inches of snow or higher, generally along and north of the Mass Pike, but some of that could sneak into the South Shore too. Less and less as you get closer to the shoreline or the southeastern coastline. This is sort of our latest focus.
I think 2 inches is sort of on the edge of being plowable. So, I think that there is a chance that Wednesday morning plows will be needed, especially north of the Pike.
Absolutely.
And in many areas. But we're really only talking about an inch or two. Let's see if we can get that map up. Hopefully we load that in later.
If not, I can run back and get it. But as far as our snowfall goes, we had that one 5-inch snow event as we went what was that, last week? Last Monday, perhaps, I think, that we had 5 inches in Boston. So that brought our seasonal total to 12.5 inches. But we're still almost 10 inches behind average to date. We've mentioned it before. We have already seen sort of a busier season than last year and the year prior. So we're starting to kind of turn things around a little bit, and we'll see. There's plenty of cold yet to be had, with a few additional snow chances yet to be had too. But when we talk about some of our snow, we've had 2 5-inch snow events, and then we've just kind of nickel and dimed ourselves after that.
Yeah, and this is just kind of another sort of, we're adding a little bit more on top here, an inch or two. Probably our last chance at any snow accumulation in the month of January, although there's a slight chance of something later this week, which we'll get to. But I think for most folks, you're talking coating to an inch south of the Pike, probably an inch or two Pike northward, could be an isolated 3, certainly, maybe out in the Berkshires, but on the borderline, again, of being plowable, but not a major event by any means, but something to be aware of if you're heading out Wednesday morning.
Absolutely.
So let's go back to the next 5 days. And so last week we were talking about another cold shot, another Arctic blast perhaps this week. And while we're still getting a little bit, Wednesday night into Thursday is going to be our coldest stretch of the week. It's a very short-lived, it's a quick burst, and then as you can see, we're back to moderating on Friday. So not the same. We've had several weeks now where it seems like mid to late week we get this shot of cold. Happening again this week, but a very quick burst and not nearly as cold as it was last week.
And by the time we get to Friday, that's the end of the month. Friday is the end of January, which will go down as a below average month.
Yeah.
It's really hard for us to get below average months, not just in Boston, but for all of our climate sites.
Yeah.
Last time we did that was November 2023 for all 4 climate sites. So I guess it kind of speaks to the intensity of the cold that we've seen. We just haven't had the storms to be able to tap into that cold.
And we were below average in December, too. So 2 months in a row.
For Boston.
For Boston,
yeah.
Yes. Definitely unusual lately, given the times.
Yeah.
There are indications that February may be more of a up and down, milder periods. That's for another day.
Whole different conversation. Yeah.
But nonetheless, at least for Friday, you'll see that storm coming out of the Midwest. I wouldn't take this too verbatim just yet. Obviously, this shows a period of snow Friday morning. Models are still very sort of on all over the place. Some have a miss on Friday, others have more rain on Friday, and others look like this with a mix of rain and snow. Just to say that there could be one final sort of precipitation event before the before the month ends.
Absolutely, and we'll get to that as we get a little bit closer. And the reason that modeling is off is because that system, the energy, is still well offshore. We're just now getting a picture of Wednesday's storm. We still have a day or two to worry about Friday.
Something just to keep in the back of your mind should you have plans. The rest of the weekend, once that goes by, it does look like a good deal of sunshine the rest of the weekend for another one of those minor systems. Yeah. Again, a lot of quick-moving sort of minor systems.
So as of right now, here's our 7-day forecast. We do have the chance for some morning flurries Tuesday. Wednesday, we're next weather alert because of the snow. We turn colder for Thursday, and we'll watch for Friday into Saturday, perhaps another chance for some precipitation. But at the moment, it looks like we are going to enter into February with cooler than average temperatures.
I feel like it's been a while since we've had a 7-day. It just looks cold. I know that this is not outrageously cold. It's actually fairly close to average, slightly below average. But wouldn't it be nice just to have a 7-day with a couple 40s or maybe a 50 on there?
I was thinking about that.
It's been a while.
It has been. It seems like every winter, especially January, we get the 1, maybe 2 or 3 day stretch where everything melts away. We kind of thawed a little bit, the January thaw. We didn't really get that this year.
It has not been a January thaw this year. I mean, last January we had, the first half anyways was very warm. We almost had a half a month of a thaw.
Right.
But yeah, this year maybe it'll be a Groundhog Day or February thaw.
There you go.
Definitely looks a little bit more volatile and again, warmer at times. Actually, so Eric Fisher is going to be working on a preview for the rest of the winter, a little piece that we're going to air later this week. So we'll be giving more info on that.
Love that. Yeah. Awesome. Terry, appreciate the conversation. Terry was on air for 90 minutes straight covering this earthquake.
The earthquake this morning.
Yeah.
What a way to start the week.
Yeah. So we're going to go get him a bottle of water. We appreciate you tuning in to CBS News Boston, talking about the earthquake and the weather. We'll have much more throughout the week on that upcoming Wednesday snow. But for now, be safe, everyone.